Before we get into some of the funny stuff, I talked to you guys about it earlier this week. But I did want to send out I mean, I'm not sending out my condolences, but I did want to pay tribute to the late great Jerry Stiller, who passed away earlier this week. He made popular long before we grew into adults. But I knew growing up and watching Frank Costanza, George's dad, the character he played on that show, was nothing short of incredible. Very underrated as Arthur in The King of Queens. The guy was at it for 50, 60 years. His comedic genius. I love the fact that he got old and embraced the kind of farty, angry old guy to a T. He lived a long, really well respected life. Made a lot of us laugh, and I will tip my beer up to that man.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there are certain folks out there that, come on, you couldn't fix that face. So you just embrace the face, and you got old with it. And comedic timing and voice inflection. If you've got those two things, you got yourself a long running career in Hollywood. It's just perfect. I was watching clips of him the other day, and just somebody took the entire episode of Festivus and boiled it all down to just Frank Costanza clips, and just the way he gets low and then raises the voice. It's just beautiful. It's wonderful. And it can be done over and over again, and it's still funny every time.
Yeah. I had to look. I couldn't figure out what movie it was, and it's from the early 2000s. But the scene is so funny. He's in a bar, and it's obviously he's out of place. He's a little too old for the scene, but he's trying to embrace it as well as he can. And he's talking to a younger woman, and she says something about she says tongue in cheek about him being old and still looking good. And he says, "Sweetheart, at my age, my looks are all I have." So good. And she got a kick out of it. And of course it's a funny line, but may he rest in peace. Legacy. I rank him up there, and especially that era with like the Mel Brookses and the Math Owls of the world. Father Time is undefeated, and it sucks. But pay tribute to that man, because he was funny as fuck. Do you guys want to say something?
Yeah, what else can be said? I mean, it's all the proof is right there for all of our eyes, and thank God for the YouTube era, because anytime you just feel like you want to go back and visit that stuff, it's a few finger strokes away.
I totally did when I heard about it, and I wasn't a huge Seinfeld dude at the time because I'm a little too young for it. Like I wasn't the demographic. It was my brothers, like in their 40s, but now like rewatching episodes, it's hysterical to me. And I went back through his clips, and the one where he falls on the fusilli, the pasta, and he has to go to the proctologist to get it taken out. That shit's hysterical. Said, "The fusilli." He said, "Yes, the corkscrew pasta."
Oh yeah.
But that's the. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, he said the character he played in King of Queens are around the same time too. I mean, you got to figure as long as they were overlapping. It's not a number of years, but when you're pulling double duty like that, I mean, he was on every King of Queens episode. Maybe was he introduced later on?
I think he came in like the middle of the first season.
So probably after Seinfeld had concluded. Well, okay. Yeah.
Well, and that's a testament to like what others in the industry think of you is like, okay, King of Queens is on. It's obviously doing well enough to stay on the air. And it's just like, we're missing that flavor. We're missing that Bobby Flay spice, if you will. What can we bring in? What's that extra ingredient that'll really make this pop? Boom. Got it. Jerry Stiller. Jerry, can you come help save our show? Same kind of thing with like Danny DeVito and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That show was on and it was doing okay. And they were like, well, we're missing an ingredient. What can we add to this? Boom. DeVito, bring him in. So there's certain guys of that ilk that can they're not the main character, but they could be. Yeah. And they did just the right amount of them can really make something pop. And the other thing that Jerry Stiller, somebody like him, really gives me hope as I age is that as long as you keep the wits about you, that sense of humor, it it can play forever. And he obviously got the jokes, or he wouldn't have stuck around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, we lost the legend, but again, YouTube and the magic of the internet, his legacy will live forever.